Welcome, everybody, to the Journeymen Lounge podcast.
You better be praying to God because, you're 14 and losses in a row. You're going to need Jesus.
Am I wrong?
I thought you were pretty wrong, yeah.
Welcome to the Journeymen Lounge podcast. I am one-third of your hosting trio, Woj, to the right.
And Ryan.
You got Bobby to round things out.
Yeah, so we are back at it. We took a little break over the holidays. I think it did everybody a world of good. No, I mean, just conflict-wise in the scheduling, so we couldn't record. But, let's just get into it because we got
quite a few topics.
I'll give you the option if you want to tell me what happened in the previous week of fantasy. I'm just going to focus with mine on the last week. I got decimated by Adam. I lost by like 50 points.
Woo!
One of those weeks of like all of his players. Oh, I take it back. I got a couple touchdowns, but they just were like insignificant.
Finally, a week where you didn't play someone who was a powder puff.
Yeah, and then Ryan's always got to chime in with the.
The hens came home to roost, huh?
Mr. Points 4 fucking over here.
Well, he's got like 200 points less scored against him and like 100,
I know,
150 less for.
I know. He's
or vice versa. I don't know.
Hopscotching his way to the playoffs. I get it.
His wins like 90 to 85. I'm having to grind it out. Shit. Speaking of grinding out.
Go ahead, tell us.
I'll just finish by saying
go ahead.
I have been into the playoffs officially. I have made it on my excellent team. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But I will say I am extremely concerned. All of my running backs are deciding to get injured. This was the league that I started with Zach Moss, and then he basically fucking just fell out of the fucking rotation. So
Woj's team was like the representative from the NFC West. Like we're they're gonna get in, but
Well, that's also a rule though.
By default.
That rule though, I thought they did away with that. No, I guess it's technically still two. But it should be, sometimes it should be overall.
They were talking about it for the NBA, I believe. That was the thing.
Okay.
Dude, NBA is a joke in the sense. They have everyone but like two teams making the playoffs.
I have the numbers officially here if we want to go over it.
All right, let's go.
What numbers?
Points for Woj's team,
Yep, here we go.
1316.92. My team, 1479.82. Points against him, 1248.1. Me, 1408.74. This is like 150 more. And then 100.
You spread that out. Hold on, time out. You spread that out over 13 weeks. It's not that much of a difference. I'll just say that to Woj's defense if you think of it that way.
All right, there we go.
No, it's crazy.
All right, we should also talk though about, as you're talking about lawyerings. We should talk about the gifts that we're wearing right now. I got this sick Pine Barrens shirt. If you know, you know, from Sopranos.
Best episode.
Yeah.
This is from Bobby. It's fucking
a little early on the Christmas gifts, but
what a good guy.
I wanted to get it to him so they could enjoy it.
Yeah, and he got me Jackie Childs. If you watch Seinfeld, you know Jackie Childs, the Johnny Cochran parody, lawyer, the hilarious character. Fucking love this shirt. This is great.
And I'm rocking Vandalay Industries.
Yes.
So if you guys are Seinfeld fans, we're definitely going to do a podcast one of these days on Seinfeld exclusive.
That'd be great.
I love you guys. I want to make sure you guys get something cool for the holidays.
Love you too, dude.
All
right. So
thank you, Bobby.
You got it.
Thanks. Ryan, you go with your fantasy.
All right, guys. I hope you made the bets. I told you to make the bets, right? You made the bets.
We did, but I think we only got like 3 out of 4.
All right.
Well,
because
the first one.
I had to talk about grinding out a win. I teased that right before.
Uh-huh.
I had to put up 134 points to get the win. 134. He put up 131. Like insane.
Is this your double quarterback league?
No, this is the big money, Kyle,
big money
the
league.
League of Assholes league. And this is like this is important, let me tell you guys. So
Limit
there is a log jam at record basically, like where it's like one game you could be in the Sacco, one game you could be in the playoffs. Like, it's that tight.
It's that tight. So there's
only Kyle is clinched and Brad, and everybody else, I think maybe Woj just.
Dude, we got to get on your brother's fucking chain. That guy only knows how to win.
I haven't clinched. I'm only 7.
Woj's team should be called I've been fucked in the ass every game, because his team's getting fucked in the ass every game. He somehow lost to Flans. He was up, but he had Denver D or something.
Hold on. I got to talk to that. So that's on me. Let me get to that one.
Sure. Anyway, but yeah, so I won, thankfully, and I don't know. If I didn't win this week, I would have definitely. I mean, I still am in Sacco contention, but I would have really been in the hot.
No, it's pretty much
in the flames. It's between pretty much Dan, Scuba, Matt, Tom. I think that's the 4. Anyway.
Yeah, right now, Tom is technically in the last spot,
right.
but 4 teams at 5-8.
What's his record for last spot?
5-8.
Okay.
And I'm 6-7.
See, that's respectable for being like last.
Woj is 7-6, but he's got a shit. See, this is like Woj's team in this league is the complete opposite of his team in the other league. He's putting up so many points and losing,
and he's just going against
kinda,
everyone having their day.
It's kind of a balance, then I suppose.
Good karma.
So yeah, I suppose he should be getting some breaks in the other league.
A little yang.
Because your team, I think I've told you this in the big money league. I think your team is like arguably the best team, and I'm just saying. So like I know I'm always putting your fantasy team down in the other league, but this team is actually legitimately good. He has like Derrick Henry and Saquon. It's insane.
And Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, he's got a good team.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh,
I came back.
How many people are in that league?
It's 12.
12.
How does that happen?
People slept on Derrick Henry.
No, people slept on Saquon. I didn't sleep on Derrick Henry. I would have taken him, but you got him. I think
Derrick Henry in Baltimore.
To me, I thought Derrick Henry should have gone with the top 3 pick. And that's my evaluation of him, but
that's ballsy.
I just will also mention.
But Saquon, I've always had love for Saquon. Damn, dude.
I'm just saying I got him on the turnaround, but I just will say that in my other league I'm 10-3, first place clinched.
Oh yeah, and
this is all gravy. I'm like, that's the league that I'm like, if I win that
2 quarterback league I clinched, by the way, 11-2, clinched first in playoffs, number 1 seed.
Nice.
So yeah,
right. And then Bobby,
go ahead.
Real quick, in my work league, this is just something that I clinched and now I'm first, which I was like, dude, this is incredible. I was down 14.5 or something like that because we do decimals, like 2 digits, and I had Denver's D for my last, and they threw up huge. They had 2 pick sixes. And last play of the game, interception. I'm like, and I pulled off the win. That put me up to 9-4, first place. But in my family league, this is where I laughed, and I sent you guys this in our group chat. I just had fun with it. I was playing, kind of whoever, because I was up against Sean, who is now 1-12, about to be 1-13. But I won by half a point.
Oh, dang.
And the reality is, I wouldn't have started some of the guys that I started, and Breece Hall shit the bed. Yeah. Chubba Hubbard shit the bed, and I still got the dub.
Dude, I had to get a dub with all these this crazy shit too. Tyreek Hill, that fluke touchdown. Have you saw on Thanksgiving? Got tapped up backwards to the, and then he got it. I would have lost if I didn't get that. Lamar Jackson, the end of the game, had like a 50-yard rush, and then he threw a touchdown. Fucking the Bills D had like 2 fumble recoveries. It was crazy.
So in my one league, I'm not the work league 9-4, tied for first for someone else, and then I think I'm 8-5 in the family league. But that's where I got the half-point win, and the week before I got a 1-point win over my brothers. So thin margins, but the dude that I've been on the bench and I'm starting now is Nick Westbrook, Akini, and Jigba, Njoku, Smith-Schuster. I'm starting him.
A couple more.
Smith-Schuster.
I added all those names.
Bobby's nickname for that guy.
So Nick Westbrook, Akini.
Oh, gotcha.
And Jigba.
Yes. I'm starting him too. I think in one league. Yeah, I'm flexing.
So I'm kicking him in there. But he's been putting up touchdowns on a shitty team. So I'm excited to see what he might do. I really want, I hate to say this, I really want to get this win for this week. I don't need it. I'm already in. But I don't want the guy who I'm up against to be in the playoffs because I don't like it. That's out of spite, I guess.
That's all good. There's always spite to be had in football, fantasy football there. But I did want to just say, so like when we get to the championships, hopefully some of us are in there. We'll do some more
hit you with a paintball gun.
We'll do some more playoff type shit when we get kind of, because this is the last week of regular season. This is kind of just like now. Now shit's about to be in.
We need a big day. Yeah.
Yeah. This is an important week for some leagues.
For some folks, yeah.
But when it starts to get playoffs, it's cutthroat. It's like, I will fucking kill you for this money.
I'm living on a prayer in my dad's league. Holy Christ! But
yeah, Mr. Raiders organization over there. All right, so let's switch gears. I want to talk 2 seconds about nobody's really going to give a shit, but the Blackhawks fired their coach.
Yes, I heard about
Luke
that.
Richards.
Oh.
Okay, let's see what it does. Maybe it inspires.
Right, dude. There's nothing really more I can comment on this. I'm not an NHL buff.
Bulls, I mean, they're doing mid-table, I think 11 and 12 or something like that, or 9 and 11.
What is this NBA Cup thing? I don't get it.
It's an in-season tournament.
I know that, but what's the purpose of it?
It's to get the players to play for a
what
bonus.
do they win?
$500K or something like that.
It's a bullshit fucking tournament.
Yeah.
It's absolutely just a marketing
and
ploy.
I'm an NBA person. I don't understand what it is.
No, it's just a ploy for more money. And
they got the weird looking courts.
The courts are atrocious, dude.
Yeah.
They're all the main primary colors, and I can't see shit sometimes.
The Celtics one was really bad.
Yeah, all green, right? All right, just quick notes on that. We'll check in with them. But what I do want to get to here, so as the Blackhawks fired their coach, Bears fucking...
Eberflus, see ya, hit the bricks.
Fucking Avitase, bitch.
I'm not a Bears fan, but you guys are probably
it was time, man.
high-fiving right now.
6 straight losses is ridiculous.
And three is by his own hand. You guys easily could have turned those to dubs.
Yeah, that's a really, really fantastic thing, though, about the Bears. Like, finally doing what is needed to be done. Like, it needed to get to an awful level, but at least they did it. At least they didn't try and come through and say, "Oh no, that smoke up your ass."
They've never
shit.
fired a head coach in season, so this is a first.
But I'm just saying it, like what they did, like with the other coaches that they were eventually gonna fire, like Matt Nagy or whatever. They blew smoke up your ass, going like, "No, we believe in Nagy. He's the best fit for the team."
You're right,
and that's where like you're lying to the organization. You're lying to the fans by saying, Eberflus putting us in a good situation to win. It's like, no, he's not. He's fucking just making the worst calls that a head coach. Now, I said this to Adam the other day. I think Eberflus probably is a great coordinator, but I think he lacks the head coach.
He doesn't. He doesn't have that type of. Let's call it an attitude or personality, similar to like a Mike Tomlin, right? If we think of Mike Tomlin,
what a great coach.
He's running the goddamn show, or the Detroit head coach. I forget his name off the top of my head.
Dan Campbell.
He's running the goddamn show. I do not get that feel off of Eberflus at all. At all.
It's because that's the way the Bears owners want it. They want a yes man. They don't want a guy who's a dick to like.
I know, but like I said, if you want to win in the NFL, you need someone who's got some.
I'm saying it ain't gonna happen.
Give me a fucking dick
Bears
guy.
Ownership.
God, you guys
since
bring
George
Ditka back.
Since George McCaskey took over in 2012 or 11, whatever, they fired Lovey at 10-6. You hire Trestman. You could have had Bruce Arians. You fucked that up. You get Trestman. He's horrible. Yeah. You fire him, and you go Oppo.
Fox, right?
You go John Fox, and then you do the same thing with the quarterback. And then you fire the coach.
You guys are on the same scheme every year.
And then Eberflus, it's like it's never. I mean, I don't know. I said it last year. They should have fired Eberflus before the year and should have got Jim Harbaugh. And that would have been a great fucking move. Look at how much better the Chargers look.
I have a question, and I know I might be tagging into a different topic here, but now that Eberflus is gone, I was talking to Woj about this before you got in. Bring in Kyle Shanahan into the fold.
So he said this, though.
Possible opportunity.
With the fact that
awesome.
that San Fran is not doing that well.
I think they're phasing out.
They definitely have had like the championship, the NFC championship runs and the Super Bowl runs. So I wouldn't be surprised if San Fran did go in a different direction at the end of this year. But I will say, you just got to see who's out there. Like, I don't want the Bears to go in. Like, yes, put the guy, Anthony, whatever the guy, the offensive coordinator, put him as the interim. Figure out who is going to get your quarterback developed. That's who you should go after. I don't know if Shanahan has that.
Oh, yeah.
But if he does, great. I just want somebody to develop a quarterback. That's what we need because the franchise has continually not had the quarterback as your best player of your team.
You guys don't know what a quarterback is. I think you've had like 30 in the past 10 years.
I don't think, honestly, too, like, a lot of coaches don't want to come here. I don't blame them. Like,
right, that's
fair.
The way
the team's managed, like, I heard, too, they make coaches, like, pay for their own flights for the interviews and shit, like, for the job interview. Like, they don't even
really
put them up. I don't know if true that is, but I
that seems kind of...
We don't fact check. But
no, but I'm just saying, like, I buy that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, I think they should. If they should get the Lions coordinator, that Ben Johnson guy. He's like the number one But Kyle Shanahan, if he was available, absolutely.
Like I said, he'd have to leave the 49ers, but man, dude, that would be a hell of
My guess is the Bears are going to get an offensive guy. They always go Oppo every time. It's like they had Eberflus, who was supposed to be defensive. Now they're going to go Oppo offensive.
But I think you need offense, though, with Caleb's development.
I agree. I think it's good if you have like a really good offensive minded head coach and then a really great defensive coordinator. Like we had like that one year, honestly, with Nagy and Vic, was it Fangio or
Vic
whatever?
Fangio.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like he ran that defense and Nagy ran the offense, and we honestly think we could have gone to the Super Bowl.
I was never sold on Nagy.
And won that year. I think we could have won if the kicker, whatever was his name, Parkey, doesn't doink that shit. I think we could have definitely.
Was that after you got rid of Gold, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was a good choice.
Yes, Bears are still kicking themselves.
And Gold's literally like 10 minutes down the way. We could go hang out with him.
He just quit or resigned or whatever.
What?
From Rolling Meadows.
I know. I'm just saying he's literally down the street for all you Chicago suburb, folks. Hell, we could, go talk to him about it.
Fell in love with the city. You just need a coach to fall in love with the city. That's what you need.
Well, Jim Harbaugh used to play here, so it would have been.
Yeah, again, Ryan, you definitely hit it on the head, though. You keep bringing it up. Keep pissing me off.
It's annoying.
It's annoying. Yeah, stop fucking mentioning
The
it.
Bears should hire me. I'm doing work.
All right, submission to the Bears right now.
Yeah.
Watch our podcast. All right, let's move to the Packers. They're playing in Thursday night's game.
And we got Detroit at home or at Detroit.
At Detroit. Let's just talk about the Packers here real quick. Jordan Love's looking good. Packers are looking good. I don't know what to say.
NFC North is looking fucking good.
The third team in the NFC North is 9-3. The division is looking great overall, except for the Bears,
who arguably could have like 3 more wins probably or something like that.
NFC North right now, I think, is the toughest division.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's hands down. Any team with 9
I'm excited
wins,
for our
3
Packers.
9+
I'm
wins.
nervous, though, because, like you said, there's only so many spots for wild card. We have, and Woj and I kind of reviewed this beforehand, we got a few more games, before we reach postseason.
The way in which they devise a schedule is the dumbest thing for any team that's in contention now, Green Bay, Detroit, or Minnesota. You play 2 division opponents back-to-back in the last 2 games, which means that if you win 2, you are most likely into the playoffs. You lose 2, you are out, or even 1.
Maybe that's why they call it like
1.
the pressure cooker. You know what's weird? It's a man and his wife who does all of this selection.
Oh, I didn't know
for
that.
the actual season matchups. So.
I just would think that you would want to have a nice mix of one during the first
early, the
8,
first 4
9
or
weeks,
5 weeks or something,
or maybe 5 weeks, and then one at the end of the season as you guys like
an even split. No, they usually pile it on the last 6.
It's really dumb to me because I think that the Bears, what we thought they were going to do this year is be 7, 8 wins. If you have a couple of division games and maybe you steal a couple, from somebody at the end, you sneak into the playoffs. That would have been a great sign for the Bears.
I lost that bet too because I thought the Bears were going to be at least over 500. So
yeah,
that ship sailed.
All right, but Packers again look good.
Packers looking good. Like I said, we need to keep utilizing Jacobs, and I think that I still like our receiver core. Now that we got Kraft more involved, that's good. But you got Reed, Wicks, and we need. I'll just say this. We need Watson to play more of an active role in the wide receiver core. Mm-hmm. We pay him good money. He's supposed to be our wide receiver 1. Fucking start acting like it.
I mean, if Jordan Love's slinging the ball, he's just unfortunately not slinging it to Christian Watson though. That's the problem. Is that we saw before on the NFL Network or whatever. It's Christian Watson is averaging 3 catches, not even 3 catches.
Not even,
2.4 or something like that.
A game, yeah. You got to get him involved. So maybe you could put blame a little bit on Love, but
just
Watson, you need to create. You got to be wide receiver 1. You got to step up to that role if you're going to be it. Okay.
All right, let's go to the next one. We'll skip picks. We'll do that at the end. Bobby, you want to talk about the Chargers, though?
Right. Okay, so I was talking about Woj with this. Chargers are doing well. They're doing fucking great. And I don't know, for one reason or another, in my mind, I don't picture them as a good team. But their record would say different. I think their defense. Their defense, really but it's just I think they scraped by a win against Atlanta, right? That happened recently. But I was like, am I wrong? Is the Chargers a force to be reckoned with? I guess that's the question.
I think their defense is showing that they're going to keep the score low. And Justin Herbert, to me, is not playing out of his mind, but he's just doing kind of like enough. Like, hey, you need 2 touchdowns to win.
Maybe it's like, dude, you're giving me too much of that French vanilla. I need some Rocky Road in my life, but. You
Clip
get that?
Yeah.
Clip that. All right, fine, whatever. But you know what I'm saying, though? There's nothing about their offensive scheme that gives me any type of like, yo, this is a team that's going to be rolling, folks. That's all.
You know what, though? The worst part, though, is as we tie that back into the other, David Montgomery touchdown.
Walks it in.
But as we tied it in, though, to the Ryan and Harbaugh, like, this is a very basic offense that the Chargers run. It's not anything crazy. They run the ball like crazy, set up play action. Kind of what every team should do. So, like, Harbaugh, again, would have been a great – if he's running this scheme with fucking Caleb Williams.
Good defense and offense with weapons, but you're not taking, you're managing it.
I love it. Establish the run. You're able to do different things, but
and he's like, and plus he's like, he was a quarterback, so he's like a QB whisperer. Like he pumps you up. They had him like a whole thing on NBC like a few weeks ago, and they were playing and like.
And but I guess in the same mindset or the same call it the same lens. I don't think Minnesota's that great of a team, even though they're 10-2. So it's like maybe I'm losing my mind a little bit here, but I don't think the Chargers and the Vikings are elite NFL teams that go into the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think that you're incorrect, and you're seeing that they're not passing the eye test of like, oh, they're killing teams or they're barely winning games or whatever. I think you have to realize that the Chargers probably will be in because who else is in that AFC West division? Maybe the Broncos, but excuse me, they got
Broncos
a good chance.
been showing up lately.
I mean, they could be in the playoffs, but I do agree with you. Like the overall, if they go against a Detroit or Kansas City,
dude, the NFC NFC is looking solid.
That's all. Yeah, they're doing better than before. All right, so the Trevor Lawrence late slide here.
Yes, good conversation.
Okay, so I'm just saying. The play where El Shahir Jaziz, whatever the fuck his name, I don't care. He fucking gave him the full business. He gave a forearm to the fucking helmet.
Full tilt.
Lawrence's head goes back on a slide. He's knocked out cold. His arm did that like stationary thing where it was like that. Scary as shit.
Scary as fuck, yeah.
But what I'm going to say is that Trevor Lawrence didn't slide late. To me, he slid in a normal fashion that he would, and this guy just simply didn't pull back. So in this example, I would say that it's not Trevor Lawrence's fault. It's Tom Brady. That's what Bobby was bringing up.
So Tom Brady, and I want you to respond after I say this. Tom Brady mentioned something that there should be an equal penalty on a quarterback.
If a quarterback late slide.
So if you're running up and it's like about a yard or so away, because this guy's already in full sprint mode, and you're a yard or so away, and then you start to initiate your slide, and you get fucking clocked, that should be on the offense 10-yard penalty.
No, and in that, if he's really sliding late,
so I'm not talking about the Lawrence one, because the Lawrence one clearly, I don't want to use that as an example, but there's got to be some type of repercussion on the offense who are doing QB run plays that they're basically getting. I'm getting close to the first and real quick, drop back.
I mean, if you're flopping, I think that's where I land more. Is like if a quarterback is flopping, he gets hit and the arms go up, or he embellishes. Like Caleb Williams embellished fucking.
Yeah, he did.
A push.
I remember
and
that.
He kind of went down. He got the flag. If you're doing shit like that, I'm absolutely fine. We're going. No, there's either flag on the offense or no flag for flopping. Like you can't really go and say late. What is the quarterback sliding late? Like when does that happen? It's like you can't really fucking.
I think too, like Bobby said, and I heard Mark Schler say this too. He's like, if it's a designed run, like it was, then it's like you're a runner at that point. You're not,
right.
You're not a quarterback.
Like the rules shouldn't apply to you.
Yeah. Like it's kind of, I don't know. If he's running out of a pass play, it's still like
Lawrence, that one wasn't.
Right. It was a design run.
Yeah, design run. Sorry,
you're a runner.
Maybe that's the designation. Like, dude, as soon as you become a runner and it's not a breakdown of a pocket, you don't get any special privileges.
I mean, too, like if you're running, like you're taking the risk. You know what you're doing.
Running.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm running out of the pocket, then I know.
Hey, you're in the fucking game of football.
Right.
Like you could get fucking hit at any time in any way. If you slide late and you get fucking popped, that's obviously on the defensive guy. But again, if you're like to me, it's like the defensive guy can always slow up. I know that the game is played at 1,000,000 miles a minute.
It's hard.
You know what? You can't as a defense. I was a defensive minded person. I played defense. I'm going to fucking hit you, and I'm going to try to go for you 100% of the time.
Yeah, but Bobby, can I honestly ask you, like, would you have been going, I want to hit your head or face mask with my forearm? Because truly, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like the same thing when a guy tries to punch a helmet in a fight or whatever. I go, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Your hand is not going to be stronger than a helmet engineered by the NFL.
I guess I'm more of the old school kind of mindset.
But old school as in, again, you're going to go for the guy's fucking helmet?
No. I'm not here to fucking put you in the hospital. But at the same token, if I'm a weak side blitz, like a safety coming down and I blitz, and I have middle of the back, I'm fucking putting my helmet right there at your lower middle back, and I'm putting you out of the fucking game.
Okay. So probably why you side against a quarterback.
But like I said, I think we've gotten to the point now. I think it needs to at least be discussed that at some point, the moment you become a designed runner, you can't slide.
I mean, I agree with you that all of the rule, like, no, I hate this fucking, he was as a quarterback, you can't do this or you can't hit him lower or whatever. I really think it's like, dude, you're putting too much of the quarterback on a pedestal. And just like, hey, nobody can touch him. Like the fucking late hits the last year were fucking atrocious. There was a couple where they just like got tapped on the helmet. Immediate flag. It's like, this is fucking football, man. Like it's not the crazy.
And the one where it's like, you can't put your whole body weight on him.
That's fucking
when you
stupid.
Tackle him.
That's fucking
stupid. It's just getting soft. It's getting super soft.
You get paid a shit ton of money. Guess what? This is called, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, as part of the job application. That's part of,
exactly.
You call it hazard pay.
You signed
hazard
that
pay.
fucking
Thank
contract.
you. There it is. It took me a moment.
You said thank you to yourself. Just
thank you.
Thank you.
You know what bothers me? Guess what? If someone only passes 3,700 yards in a season but has like 36 touchdowns and they're MVP, this guy has an issue with it.
I mean, we're not getting on the fucking Lamar Jackson train. We'll save that for another fucking
Fine.
day.
I'm just saying put on the fucking sandpaper hour because you're definitely wrong.
All right. Well, when we eventually get to those, we will do those.
I had to tease
you. Put Jameis Winston entertaining.
Okay,
something.
Jameis Winston, fun, entertaining quarterback. So someone said this in an interview. Is Jameis Winston the most entertaining quarterback in the NFL right now? That's a valid point.
I mean, I think because he airs it out because his team is always down, I look for bigger plays from Cleveland for sure. But aside from that, I think he's fucking this weird motivational speeches and shit that he does. It's weird, man. I don't know. Licking his fingers. Oh, that's a dub. That's a dub.
Granted, like I said, he has some theatrics, but I'm just saying, watching that Denver game, that was fucking fun.
Yeah, I like Jameis. I mean, I thought he was going to be better coming out of Florida State, but he's always interesting when he plays. That's for sure. He could have like 6 touchdowns and like 6 picks.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Is granted, the fucking Browns aren't going anywhere, but it's fun to watch their games.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
I mean, aside from that fucking snow bullshit,
yes,
you can't see shit. Like in the broadcast, like how they do it, I don't know if it's a camera or whatever, but like I can't see the play of what's happening all that great with the last 2 games that have been in the snow. I'm like,
snow games are cool though.
It's a
I
cool
love that
thing.
Buffalo game. That was incredible.
I just wish that they could get the cameras to show better.
Can we call that out? We had Allen who had a rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown,
on the one
and a passing touchdown.
Yeah. Already threw it to him.
That's incredible.
That was pretty cool.
Although I didn't get shit for Amari. All I got was the fucking catch.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, one good week since he got traded, and then he hasn't done shit since.
Who?
Amari Cooper.
Dude, you shouldn't have fucking put your eggs in that basket.
What are you talking about? I picked him up for $1.
Is that why you're only at 1,200 points? And even in my 14-man league, I'm beyond you.
Okay, so
right,
that's
cool.
the end of the first part. Because I'm done with you fools. All right. You just...
Hate.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to do the picks of the game real quick.
Yep.
Even though Detroit is up, I don't think it was going to change anybody's picks there. So I got Detroit.
Green Bay got to.
Okay. And Bobby, why? Just because you think?
I think there's an opportunity where Green Bay pulls off a win.
Okay.
That's all.
I could see that. All right,
9-3.
So Jaguars, Titans, and a who gives a shit. I'll go Titans.
Titans.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is out.
No. Well,
Yeah, go Mr. Go fucking
Jaguars.
Jets. You
Let's go.
fucking dick.
I'll go Titans too. I just don't think that the Jaguars have what they need to win.
Jaguars.
All right, Jets, Dolphins. I got the Dolphins.
Jets.
I go Dolphins. There you go. Way to go.
Falcons, Vikings. I am going to go Vikings.
Kirk Cousins' revenge game, Falcons.
I love it. I'm gonna go
This kid
Minnesota,
likes the
but
story.
barely.
Okay. Saints, Giants. Saints.
Who gives a shit?
Saints.
Saints.
Panthers, Eagles.
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 Browns, Steelers.
Steelers.
Browns.
Steelers.
I'm going Browns, pulling off an upset.
I hope
Division game.
I hope T.J. Watt strip sacks Jameis Winston like 5 times. For 5 touchdowns.
He might.
I have Pittsburgh D.
Dude, Watt's so good, man. Let's not even.
All right,
discount.
Raiders, Buccaneers. I'm gonna go
Do it.
Raiders. I don't know why. I got a feeling.
All right.
Bucks.
I'm going Bucks too.
Okay. Seahawks, Cardinals. I got the Seahawks.
Cardinals.
You're definitely going against the grain all fucking week. I'm going Seahawks.
All right, Bills, Rams. I got the Bills.
Bills.
Bears, 49ers. We're gonna go with Chicago. 49ers just lost all of their running backs, so we might have a chance.
Bears.
I'm going Bears too.
The clean sweep.
The sweep of the
only
Bears.
time in the whole
They got
fucking
rid of
season.
Eberflus. They might have a chance here.
Dude, I think it'll spark a little
They'll
bit
spark
more.
something.
The same way that when they fired Waldron, it sparked something. The Bears look
what do you guys
better
think this week? Caleb Williams or Russell Wilson?
in terms of more fantasy points.
Yeah.
Caleb.
Russell. Dude, Russell threw for 4 Bills last game,
Yeah.
400.
All right. I had that very decision this week.
I think in the snow, right? 400 in the snow?
No. In the snow, he wasn't great, but last week he was.
Oh,
against
last
the
week.
Bengals.
Okay.
You have Garrett Wilson or
Russell.
Miles Garrett on.
IDP? What if
No, on Cleveland. He's gonna be fucking tuning up.
Yeah.
Dude, I think teams have kind of just put a bunch of guys over on Miles Garrett.
Well, it's like, do I put my eggs in the Bears basket? I don't like that basket. Or do I put my eggs in the other basket? I don't know.
I just think Caleb might have a breakout. That's all.
I mean, he's been good the last few
He's
weeks.
been great.
Yeah.
He doesn't turn the ball over.
that is huge.
And
That is huge.
San Fran is reeling.
Dude,
All right.
San Fran's fucking falling apart.
We got 2 more. Chargers, Chiefs. I got the Chiefs.
Chargers.
I'm gonna go Chargers.
Okay. And we got Bengals, Cowboys. I got the Bengals.
Bengals. They better beat the Cowboys for fuck's sake.
I mean, we'll see. That game could be
That's
real,
a weird game. Yeah.
That could be a real shit show. But Joe Burrow still slings the ball. He still throws for like 300.
I feel bad. The guy has like 350 yards and like 4 touchdowns, and his team loses. Like, dude, at some point, it's like, guys, please stop their fucking offense. I feel for him because Cincinnati, if you look at their numbers, their defense, I think me, you, and Woj could put up at least 180 against them.
For sure.
All right.
Jesus Christ.
Last thing I want to mention here
Help
is
a brother out.
in our pick'em this week. Ryan, I'll give you one guess of how many perfect brackets there were last week. Perfect brackets.
I don't know. None?
8.
Really?
Yeah.
8 people had perfect brackets in this pick'em.
Do you have a tiebreaker or Monday night? Monday
Yeah,
night?
Monday night
Tiebreaker was
score.
the score. I think Justin hit it with 51,
highest,
and
yeah.
the Monday night
Was
game
like
was
a
like 72
60-something,
or
yeah.
something like that.
68.
But I mean, dude, 8 people, perfect brackets was crazy. And I fucking same thing. I stopped putting like a bet,
a dollar bet. You
dollar
don't do
bet
that?
on everyone, just because I'm like,
Oh no.
oh yeah, I'm like, I forget to do it or whatever. And I just like, fuck, this one week I don't do it. That would have been like a couple of G's.
I don't think
but
I've ever seen a perfect bracket. That's great.
Oh, it's happened.
it
It's happened
happens
quite a few times.
a couple different times there. We've gone to the tiebreaker twice now this year. But just wanted to mention it real quick. We're going to be coming back with my movie, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. So we'll do
Love
that. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be back. Peace. Okay, welcome back. We are the Journeymen Lounge podcast. Our movie review this week was Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Classic.
Hey.
I'm just going to read a couple.
Walk us into it. Spoiler alert, I guess, for anyone.
Well, this movie's only from 1987.
So
it's a
been a
classic. So if you haven't seen
So,
Close to
1987 stars Steve Martin, John Candy. We got John Hughes directing it
Yes.
and writing it,
Yes.
which I think he did most of his, right?
A lot of it.
He wrote and directed pretty much everything, right?
A lot of times.
He brought in a few others to help craft the
and if he
dialogue.
even if he didn't direct it, like he wrote like Home Alone, but he didn't
Right.
direct it. But like he had his hands in a lot of
Right.
things.
Definitely. So like Ryan said, 1987. So basically, just a quick synopsis is I'm just get the names right so we can reference them. Yeah, so it's Neil Page and Del Griffith. Del Griffith is John Candy with his weird little mustache and curly cues.
and perm.
Yeah, perm. There's your Watson guy. All right. So Neil Page is in some corporate world. He's getting home from
and he's in advertising.
Advertising?
Yeah.
he's
cosmetic advertising. Yeah.
cosmetic advertising. So he's getting home. I believe he goes from
New York to
He's
Chicago.
trying to get back
Chicago.
to Chicago, and he ends up going through, let's just say, a snafu of different issues regarding his, not being able to get a taxi. Getting sat next to a big buffoonish character, and then basically there's a problem. Excuse me. Does the plane? I forget. The plane ends up
there's
getting
a big-
grounded.
Yeah. Well, it gets delayed.
Snowstorm at O'Hare.
It gets delayed, and then there's a big snowstorm passing through Chicago, which means they redirect.
They
to
divert.
Wichita.
Okay. So they divert, and then they get like a rental car, and it's one of those 80s comedies it's kind of follows the same thing as like they're going to be stuck together here, and then it turns into what I love though about this movie is that it ends up being that heartwarming kind of moment at the end of you kind of understand a little bit more about why Del is the way that he is,
Right.
and Neil ends up bringing him actually back to his Thanksgiving dinner with his family.
yeah.
So it's pretty nice to end it that way.
Well, it's your classic road trip movie with like an odd couple,
Yeah,
like
definitely
it's like these guys you wouldn't want to be paired with each other for 10 minutes. They're paired with each other for like 72 hours.
So modern version Due Date.
Exactly. Well, I was going to get to that.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I was going to say at some point later they've been a ton of these, and Due Date's like pretty much a direct rip off of it. But
Absolutely.
it's I love Due Date though. It's also fucking awesome.
Funny movie too.
There's lots of movies like this. Like there's like Midnight Run or Tommy Boy. Like where there's like a couple dudes.
Actually, yeah, that's a great. Great some comparisons.
There's been a lot, but this might be the best of them. I think.
I think so too.
So let's just go with, for me, experience with the movie is just simply this was definitely something that we've either, probably honestly, this is something that my family probably bought right away when it was released in the 80s. And then when I came around 91, I'm assuming this was just, again, something on during the holiday type of feel. What about you guys?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know. I think I'm pretty much assuming I kind of remember that. Like most of my comedy, like what introduced him is my dad, like his style. So he loved John Candy. So he'd be like,
One of the greatest.
"Show me Uncle
Love John
Buck,"
Candy,
or Stripes, or this
Canadian Bacon.
Canadian Bacon.
I haven't seen that one, but
Gotta see
that
God,
one. Get on it.
Whatever. Anyway,
Whatever.
but yeah, this one is great. Yeah, I don't know when I saw it, but I've sometime when I was a kid, and it's like a staple, like every year, like you talked about. It's one of the rare, I think, the only Thanksgiving movies I can think of. I mean, I know there's more, but like it comes to mind.
Right.
Yeah, it's a top one though.
It's just a classic. I think I had it on my notes, like, where does it rank among the John Hughes movies? We can get into that later. And same thing with John Candy. Performances or movies, I think for both of them, it's among the best. My favorites for both of them. So I love this movie.
Let's start with the John Hughes in terms of what is this is my favorite of John Hughes? No.
Well, but the answer for both for me is Uncle Buck. I love Uncle Buck. I think you could say this movie is maybe like better than Uncle Buck. I don't argue like that, but I love Uncle Buck, so that's gonna be for me.
This is really up there for my John Hughes.
This would
really
probably be number 3 for me. Or two or three. I'd probably go Uncle Buck, Then Ferris Bueller, and then this, I would say.
Yeah, to me, I got Ferris Bueller over Uncle Buck, but it's a tight one right there. But I mean, he's got some crazy ones.
You got Breakfast Club. You're a big Breakfast Club guy.
I mean,
16 Candles.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is there.
Vacation. I think he only wrote.
Yeah, I still put that in the same kind of category.
He did do the first one, or he wrote the first one too. Actually, I think
written by But I'm just saying that to me, I go Ferris Bueller, and then the Uncle Buck, Christmas Vacation, Planes, Trains, and
If we're counting
Automobiles.
Christmas Vacation, then
that's up there for sure.
I put this one over Christmas Vacation. I'll say that.
Okay.
Wow.
So my exposure experience to this, it's a preference.
No. That's not a bad take. I was just trying to think like if I would do that.
Yeah. So I was, like I said, I saw this movie when I was young. This came on when I was, pretty much right around Thanksgiving. We have Detroit playing for Thanksgiving. We'd always have it on, and I'm a huge John Candy fan, and Steve Martin's hilarious. So it was always a fan favorite. And I know we're going to get into this a little bit later. There's a lot of film out there sitting in some storage facility
or something,
with over 2 hours worth of footage of this movie that I want to get my hands on. So
you would think though, I would think. Let me just phrase it that way. I would think that the addition of, let's say, if they added in the full 2 hours, I think at that point it's moving too slow. Like they're adding in elements that you're not like. It wouldn't be an addition. You said a couple of scenes to just like.
They made it available on the Blu-ray. Yes.
But you're saying like the couple of scenes would connect some of the other scenes though. Like you were saying something about the
pizza guy who robbed them,
right? So then
John
adding
Candy
in
tipped him $1.
That other scene would probably add in context to why that guy's robbing him.
There was a scene missing of John Candy messing the bathroom up, like when he comes out
exactly
of
with
the shower.
his nightly routine, and then a little bit more of
on the airplane. There was with the
monologue
food and the talking.
So like those scenes, all that you mentioned, I was like those would go well with the movie, and I wouldn't think, hey, it's dragging. But then you were talking about adding in the plot line that the wife.
Oh, they took that out for
Steve Martin's cheating.
Yeah, that was a good decision to take that away. I think for sure.
Okay.
Because I think it pulls from the comedy aspect of it.
Yeah.
I'm
just saying that the full 2 hours, I think there's some hits and misses there.
I'm sure, but man, dude, a lot of John Candy and Steve Martin, man. I don't know if you can't. I'd have a hard time saying no to it.
Well, they said that there was like a 2 hour cut that they all thought was hysterical, and they cut it even down from that to an hour and a half. So I think I'd be great with a 2 hour cut. I think if I trust that they people who
and John Hughes stands by it. I mean, he passed away, and even to this day, he's not releasing any of that additional footage, which kind of kills me a little bit.
I don't think it's his
so
choice,
funny.
but.
Well, the estate then they're still honoring his wishes.
Yeah.
He said, "This is my movie." So okay,
damn shame.
Yep.
I mean, it is what it is. One thing I also will say, funnily enough, as we were doing the movie review tonight, we were planning to do it last week, but it's all good.
Well, it was Thanksgiving.
All good. So there was a little thing on social media that came up about Planes, Trains, and Automobiles that basically, in front of a screening audience, they released the movie and they didn't have the scene in where they're at the train stop in Chicago, and John Candy asks for the address.
So he can mail him back the
money. So
he
can mail him back the money, and Neil goes, don't worry, it's a gift.
Right.
He doesn't want to see it.
They didn't have that scene in initially, and everybody that screened that movie said, oh, well, Del Griffith is such a freeloader, con artist, whatever. Mm-hmm. So they added that scene in, and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles actually, got sent out.
Because removing that scene and the possible $263 at the cafe, if you remove those scenes or at least those that part of the dialogue, immediately you're gonna have a negative view on Del Griffith.
I think so, but I'm just saying I think there's a lot of movies that go to that screening stage and then they go, nah, this was terrible. They hated the movie. We're going to scrap it. And I know that there's a couple different – I wish I could pull them right now. But I just know that there's a bunch of different examples out there.
Yeah, it works in two ways too, where it's like it shows that he's not a cheapskate. He's not a freeloader. It also shows how bad Steve Martin doesn't want anything to do with them. And like he doesn't even want his money. I don't want you to have my information. I don't want to see you ever again. So I think it works on two levels.
Right, definitely so. All right, so let's get into kind of favorite scenes. I'll just start with, the entire motel scene You know, from start to finish.
Fucking gold.
I mean, he's got the dirty.
Well,
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say, like, it just starts like they think that they're gonna get like a 2-bedroom or whatever, and they go in there, and then it just like focuses on the bed. The score is like a horror movie or something. It's like dun 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 dun. And he keeps like peering back to it. And he's like, so you want to take a shower? No. And he thinks like it's like a gay thing or whatever. He's like, no, I mean first. Oh, okay. Like it's really funny. Like you know, it's like in the 80s, so it's like they have more like jokes with that kind of stuff. I think it's funny though.
I gotcha.
I got one.
Yeah, go ahead.
My favorite scene is when Del Griffith was trying to take off his cardigan or his like jacket when he was driving, and then these people are like on the other lane, and he's like, "How the hell do they know where we're going?
You're going the wrong
no.
way."
And that whole scene of basically him getting turned like on the wrong side of the highway, still going like northbound.
Yeah.
And then he turns into the devil. He's like, ha ha ha.
No. So before he gets his jacket caught.
Right, spins
Steve
out.
And then-
Martin's sleeping.
And then he gets his jacket caught, and then he spins out to start going the wrong way.
Yeah, he's driving with his like legs or
Then
whatever.
he ends up, Steve Martin's still asleep. Then he starts driving. And, dude, one of the funniest things of this movie, I
We can
always
laugh about
replay,
it now because it's
is he fucking is driving the wrong way, and then they open up the window, and John Candy's like, oh, yeah, it must be drinking.
how the hell do they know where we're going? You know?
Yeah, how the hell do they know where we're going?
This is one of these.
Yeah, he's
You're going to kill someone.
Oh.
Then they get sideswiped
And they
by
do
the
the
two
whole skeletons
semis.
things too.
Yeah, John Candy turns into the devil, and then I like when he goes, looks at the car. He's like, "Oh, it's not that bad. It's gonna be way worse. They can buff that out." It's like this totally.
And then,
destroyed.
like within 5 minutes later, they look back. It's on fire.
Oh yeah, well, because John Candy's cigarette was in the
yeah.
back seat or whatever.
We'll talk about speaking news with that in a little
But
bit.
yeah, well, I want to get back to the motel thing. Like we kind of
Alright.
glanced over.
Yep,
that.
sorry.
It's one of those scenes where it's like
So
the
fun
whole
in the motel.
time that they're in it.
That's a great scene too. That was a great one.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
But the motel.
All right,
one,
motel it up.
there's more of that. So they got to share the bed. Okay, Steve Martin takes the shower, turns off on and off on him when he's like putting the soap in his eye. It's at the worst time. Then he gets out of the bathroom. Dell is completely
gross.
obliterated the entire bathroom. The sink's full of wet towels. There's like
Socks or
Q-tips
something.
and dirty socks. Every towel is wet and used except for this little hand towel. And Steve Martin has to dry himself off with his it's like so tiny.
Give it up to Steve Martin, man. He plays the character perfectly.
And then they have to share the bed, and there's like the lead scene like we talked about, where I guess they got pizza and beer. John Candy only tipped the guy $1 or whatever.
And he had to take it from Neil's wallet.
So that's why that guy robs him for the money. But before that, John Candy put the bed on and he shook up the beer.
The vibrating beer.
So Steve Martin's sleeping in beer, and
beer
the whole time he's trying to sleep, John Candy's doing everything in the world to just like keep him awake. Like he's making
clear his sinuses.
clearing his sinuses, cracking his knuckles, cracking his neck, lighting a lighter to read. And then at one point, Steve Martin just loses it, and he has that whole really what it's called, the monologue where he just talks
My
so
wife
shit
likes
to him.
me. That's.
And then Dell has that one, and then the morning, my favorite though is the morning when they wake up and he's like, "Why are you holding my hand?" They're like spooning or whatever, and he's like,
"Kissed me on my
Why
ear.
you kiss me in my ear? Where's your
Your
other
other
hand?
hand.
It's between two pillows. Those aren't pillows.
And then he's like, "How about them Bears game?"
Yeah.
Great team this year.
Right there.
That's always a scene that my dad and me always talk about. Those aren't pillows.
Yeah. How about them Bears? Yeah, they play a hell of a game.
I also got when Dell starts singing on the bus, they get like a greyhound,
Flintstones, meet the
and then Steve Martin, I forget what he fucking says.
Coin in a fountain or something.
Two coins in a fountain. Oh, you don't know that one? Okay.
I don't know what. Because Dell's like a man of the people, and Neil is not so much.
I'm surprised you guys didn't mention the rental agreement.
I was about
scene.
to.
All right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
we still got a couple more.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, the
So yeah, Neil
Hunter with the rental lady.
Oh my! I wish you'd wipe that fucking smile off
He
your
goes-
rosy cheek.
he goes to get his car. It's not in the space. He has to walk.
I
I don't know, miles across
Couple
the
miles,
airfield, like down an interstate, down like snow. He falls, his hat gets run over. He's just disheveled and dirty, and then he goes
so pissed off.
back in the lady from Ferris Bueller, the secretary.
Edie McClurg.
Yeah, he has the whole thing. If you want to read the thing, you
So
can-
many f bombs. This is probably the most.
Otherwise, I have it.
You got to go.
Okay. How may help? I can't do her accent. How may I help you? You can start by wiping that fucking dumbass smile off your rosy fucking cheeks. Then you can give me a fucking automobile, a fucking Datsun, a fucking Toyota, a fucking Mustang, a fucking Buick, four fucking wheels and a seat. I really don't care for the way you're speaking to me. And I really don't care for the way your company left me in the middle of fucking nowhere with fucking keys to a fucking car that isn't fucking there. I really didn't care to walk down a fucking highway and across a fucking runway to get back here and have you smile on my fucking face. I want a fucking car right fucking now. May I see your rental agreement? I threw it away. Oh boy. Oh boy, what? You're fucked.
She has that. Yeah, it's like a Midwest. You're fucked.
That's got to be the most F-bombs I think in a movie in that time.
I'm pretty sure that's what gave it the R rating. Otherwise, it really doesn't need an R rating.
But she's also great
so
in Ferris Bueller's Day. She tries to. What you got to do, Ferris Bueller? Rooney.
And then after that too, he goes out to get a cab, and the cab wrangler guy like punches him out, and then he almost gets run over by Dell. He's like, pick him up, and he picks him up by his nuts or whatever. Oh my god.
Oh, dude, Dell is like.
Neil almost got ran over by a car twice in a movie, so that's something to note.
Right.
In New York, when, Kevin Bacon making a cameo.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention the beginning scene when they're running for the cab. That's pretty great too.
Yeah, you'll never make the 6.
You'll never make the 6.
And then the lawyer squeezes $80 out of him or something like that, and then Dell takes his cab.
Yeah.
I just got a couple other scenes real quick. So John Candy driving and singing to Mess Around, so great.
So I mean, it's
unbelievable.
The whole thing is great. I love when they parody in they did one Family Guy episodes.
Do the Mess Around.
Yeah.
And then you gotta mention the pullover scene. So you got Michael McKean.
Yes.
Fucking ends up
state trooper,
and then he's like,
they're driving the burnt up car. We haven't got to that, but the car burnt up, and they somehow were able to drive. We'll talk about that later, how that's possible or not. But
it's possible. I'll say this: it's possible.
The cigarette goes to the backseat.
It's a funny gag,
and it lights the car on fire.
You see him driving on the highway in the freezing
cold.
Believe
it or not, the radio still works.
Yeah, so he's got you have no outside mirrors. No, we lost those. No functioning gauges. No, not a one. However, the radio still works. So
works like a charm.
Comes in clear as a bell. Who'd have thought?
Who would have thought?
Do you think this vehicle is safe for traveling?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
All right. I got one more. No, that was my last scene. What do you got? Any last scenes?
Go ahead.
You go.
I guess a scene that kind of hits more in the soft feelies is he's sitting out in the car that's burnt up because Steve Martin basically said, "Hey,
get your own fucking room."
Yeah, I'm done with you because at this point, believe it or not, I think Dell at one point did steal his credit card. I think in St. Louis
they swapped credit cards, which again I don't know how you don't know.
That's a picky nit for me because they mentioned what they had in their wallet and just regardless. Right. I think Del Griffin was just trying to get himself to a better spot so he could remediate the situation. But he's sitting out there in the freezing cold, and then Steve Martin looks over to him when he's in his bed, and he's like, "Yeah, you know what? I'm starting to like this guy. I've been a dick to him all the whole time, and he brings him that got me in the heart field because he's talking to his dead wife, in his own monologue. It just that was I think a really good scene to make it.
It is good because then after they have they're bonding in the motel room. They're drinking the tequila and having Doritos, and
that was a turning point for me. And I thought it was a great opportunity for John Candy.
And it's good too, for Steve Martin's character because he's kind of an asshole the whole movie.
The whole fucking.
But sometimes it's
warranted.
Justifiably
warranted,
so.
Yeah.
Yes, mm-hmm. But still, it's nice to see he has some compassion for Adele.
Right,
definitely. All right, I'm gonna run through some cast stuff here in terms of. Just the stuff to mention at the.
Can I just mention one quick one?
Go ahead.
Sorry. I love the quick montage of Dell selling the shower rings.
Yeah,
that was fucking hilarious.
The little teenage girls and everybody at the bus stop to get extra money.
Yeah, he's to the girl, he's like, you girls look 18, maybe even 20.
This is autographed by whoever. I forgot what he said.
Daryl Strawberry.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah.
Diane Sawyer wore this on. Oh, you had Kraft open, you son of a bitch.
Also, I just want to say John Candy, the whole entire movie is so annoying, but it's still at the same time so
enjoyable,
lovable.
pleasant.
It's
yeah.
like crazy. He can walk that line. He's like taking his socks off and waving them
Oh,
around.
that was
and doing
gross.
all the dirty sock water when Neil washes his face too with his underwear and dry. Oh, it's like just wanted to mention that.
No, I kind of put that. John Candy, Steve Martin. I think they're a great duo. They work well together because you always have to have the guy that you is annoying but
straight-
lovable,
Right.
and then you have the guy who's playing the straight man who's like a dick, but you can't just be like, oh, he's just a prick the whole time because
And
otherwise
he still has some funny shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just definitely a guy who's so much more like, again, as you said, getting the wrong fucking or the shaft pretty much every fucking time. Just
Yeah.
doesn't get the cab, has to divert the flight, doesn't have the car rental. Just a number of things that kind of keep them together as well for the movie.
Right. Train breaks down. Like,
I'll say this though, Dell had some like good advice. He's like, "Hey, we're not going to get out of here. You should probably get out." Like,
Yeah, he
so
didn't.
like I said, Dell. Granted, he took advantage of like a little bit of the financial prowess of Steve.
I mean,
Martin's
Steve
character.
Martin makes bank, dude. He
Makes
was-
bank, but at the same time, he was trying to help him out, and he was trying to be even Stevens throughout this whole thing, and he was trying to be accommodating. So. I think, like I said, if they removed a few scenes, I could see how quickly negative, some viewers would see that. So you mentioned that earlier, so I'm like, I could see that.
Right. So we got just a couple cast guys before we go to like scene stealing or whatever, because I think there's
Sure.
a couple. Like they're in for a second.
this
and
whole
you,
movie's full of those guys.
but you might not catch
Yeah.
them. So Lyman Ward, that's Ferris Bueller's dad,
Yes,
is the first guy, like a
in the office,
corporate guy
Yep.
or
Are
whatever.
you talking about is this like that guy thing?
No, he's just
Or
going
he's just
through
doing
a
in
few.
general?
I'm just saying,
Oh,
just
okay.
people that like pop in, but I think that there's
Cameos,
like a
if you will.
couple scene stealing
Yeah.
type of guys that you, because like these guys like Kevin Bacon, I wouldn't see how that's a scene
He
stealing.
asked to
I
be
think
in.
it can be,
He
yeah.
asked to be in this,
But he doesn't-
He's
oh,
like
does he?
in whatever
His
like
scene
capacity.
is a memorable scene.
To me, it's not.
It's like a one scene. That's what that's what kind of what it is, like a one or couple scene. I don't mean you have to pick him. I think,
Okay.
I wouldn't be.
I like
Sim-
that weird cab driver. I think he.
I wouldn't be appalled.
I forget
by
the
Larry
actor's
Hankin.
name. yeah.
Larry Hankin, Doobie in this.
That was great. I loved his ride.
Just a couple other guys though that again to me didn't. Let's just say they didn't pop to me. Dylan Baker, who plays the redneck.
Yeah, you didn't like him?
It just wasn't the top of the top.
Man, I thought he was hilarious.
Martin Ferrero, who was the guy, second motel clerk.
yeah,
He was in
Jurassic
Park.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
The lawyer gets eaten in the
Yep,
toilet.
gets eaten. You're right.
Richard
that's him.
Hurd has been in a bunch of shit, but I don't. Again, his thing was like 2 seconds. Matthew Lawrence, 2 seconds. Ben Stein was in this 2 seconds.
Yes, for the announcer for
Yeah. Gary Riley. I mean, the burglar.
a lot of drop-ins. You're right.
Yeah.
There's a ton of them.
That's mainly just what I was saying. Is that it seems to me like there's a couple of the scenes that like the longest interaction between somebody new was like 30 seconds a minute, and that to me like drew more than the people who just pop in. So in terms of scene steal, like who would you go with then, Ryan?
Well, I think the obvious answer. I mean, I had people written down. I had Kevin Bacon, I had Larry Hankin, I had the what's her name, Edith, whatever.
McClurg.
She's the obvious winner to me.
That's what I'm saying. is
But
that-
there's people who should be mentioned.
okay.
Like they said,
Honorable
Kevin
mentions,
Bacon
sure.
should be mentioned. It was a good scene. Larry Hankin for his 30 seconds to a minute was good. Michael McKean, State Trooper, would be up there. And I had Dylan Baker. I think he was great. He's like she's like she gave birth sideways or whatever.
That was fucking hilarious. I thought it was a
She's
great.
real strong. She don't look it, but she's skinny. But
Honey,
she's
grab the
strong.
trunk. Get your ass.
Yeah. But yeah, I think definitely Edith.
Her first baby came out sideways. She didn't scream or
scream
nothing.
or
He didn't scream or nothing. Anyway, that guy's he's good.
To me, I go Edie McClurg as their car rental.
I think
just-
she's the clear winner.
That's fucking great. I think it's more Steve Martin given the performance there, but she's just there. And again, you get the Ferris Bueller kind of connection as well.
Yeah.
Dylan Baker still good. I'm not saying he wasn't good. I just, to me, the scene stealing kind of came.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's him. I think it's her.
Who's the actor in? Sorry, you said the second motel where they didn't technically give up any credit card, but he gave a watch, and then
Does
That's the dude from the
Martin
Jurassic
Ferrero.
Park.
Jurassic Park. So the cool thing about this, if you think about it, they don't have your name on file. They have cash and some watch. He backed up into the room, and then he
we
looks.
forgot
he's
to
like,
mention that.
They
Yeah.
don't know us. But
Yeah,
peace.
I was thinking that too. I'm like, well, at least he didn't give him a credit credit card.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I'm Joe Schmo.
That time the credit cards being burnt up was a blessing.
Yeah, right? So I was like,
he's
a
got,
small win.
I got American
Diners
Express.
Club.
Diners Club.
It's like charred.
Yeah.
It's like a third of it.
Neiman Marcus.
What the fuck was I just going to mention?
Sorry.
Are you going to do that guy?
Yeah, I mean, if you got, I kind of mentioned a couple.
We kind of mentioned a bunch of them, but yeah, Matthew Lawrence.
Matthew Lawrence was the
Ferris
kid.
Bueller's dad is the guy you won't make the 6.
Yep.
Neil's wife is, if you guys watched The Walking Dead, she was on the last season of The Walking Dead. Pamela Milton.
Nope, didn't watch it.
No.
The old man sitting next to Neil on the plane is
Bill-
the old man in Seinfeld.
Yeah,
Also
it's funny
in-
as hell. Yep.
Also in Home Alone.
Also
1.
in Home Alone, yeah.
Home Alone, I should say. Sorry. Larry Hankin, obviously he's in a bunch of things.
Dude, it's great.
Breaking Bad, Seinfeld, Friends, Home Alone. This
Fucking
a ton of things.
Billy Madison.
Ton
Yep.
of things. Billy
Ton,
Madison,
yeah.
Carl, yeah, ton of things. Edith, whatever.
McClurg. Learn it. Put some respect on
sorry.
a goddamn name.
Ferris
She's
Bueller,
watching.
the Ferris Bueller secretary.
Hey, you know what?
She's-
Like and subscribe. That'd be
she's
great.
watching this
we
shit,
should drop her
man.
on Instagram or something.
Dylan Baker, he's in a ton of things. He's in Experiment 2. He's in The Americans.
He's like, dude, he's always a guy where you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this
So,
guy's in this?
I think the winner would probably be Ferris Bueller's dad because he's
Yeah.
he's Ferris Bueller's dad. I don't
Lyman
know-
Ward.
I don't know that guy's name. And then if not her, then the car rental agent or the old man. I like
Old
that.
man on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are good ones. The last thing I just mentioned about the cast is like I could have swapped out the wife with somebody. I don't really have.
She doesn't have much of a role. I
I
guess.
don't have a
why
real
swipe?
casting because to me it just was like it's the same thing. I think I mentioned this with Uncle Buck, is that the wife, to me, I was like, could be somebody better, but I just didn't have somebody who was like, oh, this would have worked great with this person.
I think to Bobby's point, I would agree that there's not much for her to do in given this movie. But I think it's also would I'm kind of skipping the thing, but like it's not picking it, but maybe it would make the movie better is maybe add a couple more scenes with, I don't know, Steve Martin talking to her longer, or
Right.
get a better rapport.
And that's part of the.
Also, maybe him talking to his kids or something, so it's like more.
Yeah,
like
they
you
drop
feel more,
in at
you
the
feel
very
more,
end.
You feel more emotion for him trying to get back there. you
Yeah,
know?
definitely.
I think it could have added to it. So I would. That's what I would.
Like I said, I just didn't have somebody where because it was a
in the 80s, then
87, just kind of like I'm sure there's a lot of
you could have like Glenn Close. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of someone who like
Jodie
No, she's too young then.
Yeah.
I don't know.
like I said, not anybody to swap out with.
I think that's a weak case, if any.
It's
you know.
I think it's she's fine for what it is, but she's not. I wouldn't say she's good, but she's just there. You know?
Yeah. Let's go to quotes.
I got one.
I got John Candy going over to Neil. $6 in my right nut says we aren't landing in Chicago.
About
I got one.
you play with your balls a lot.
Damn
I do
it.
not play with my balls.
Larry
Larry Bird doesn't do as much ball handling in one night as he do in an hour. Are you trying to start a fight? No, I'm simply stating a fact. That's all. You fidget with your nuts a lot. You know what'd make me happy? Another couple of balls and an extra set of fingers.
I like Dell. Like he hits him early on. He's like, "I'm the real article. What you see is what you get." It's like,
That's a
God
great-
damn, I love that.
You're no saint. Neil's even
Oh my God,
his
he's-
whole thing. He just fucking rips on him. You got a free cab, you get a free room, and someone you'll listen to your boring story. So like I said, some of this is warranted, some of this is granted, but I think it hit a tipping point for him. You took my Larry Bird thing. God damn it. But
Sorry, Charlie.
I got Dell when he's selling it. He's like, "Oh, this is Czechoslovakian ivory."
Yeah.
the entire ear.
I mean, the one I remember most is Those Aren't Pillows, but we already talked about that.
Yeah.
I think this one, Dell's like,
I got one.
simple. There's no way on earth we're going to get out of here tonight. We'd have more luck playing pickup sticks with our butt cheeks.
I like this one. He says, "So you're in a pretty lousy mood, huh? To say the least. You ever traveled by bus before? Yeah, your mood's probably not going to improve much."
So that's probably a bad time to tell you. We only got tickets to St. Louis.
Yeah.
I've never seen a man get picked up by his testicles.
How about before that when he taunts the cab guy? He's like, if I wanted a joke, I'd fly you into the John and watch you take a leak.
That was a fucking great one.
I think it's Dell. He's like, lucky that cop came by when they did. Otherwise, you'd be picking up your schnuts from the ground.
Yeah.
I love John Candy.
He's so
Fucking
good.
So good.
I think we talked about all the rest of them. I'm good.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good.
I got what is unique? Latin for asshole. Let's see.
He had some comment. I can't remember. I didn't write it down. I wish I did. It was like about $1 million, or like we're $1 million short
sorry.
of.
Go ahead. Finish.
No, I don't know what it is. I can't remember. Go ahead.
No, but he's like, do you have $17 and a good watch? No, but I have $2 and a Casio.
And a
Yeah,
Casio.
Casio,
Yeah. And just like displays it. Yeah.
Not a quote, but on the van, the van that drives by, it says, "Oh my gosh, it's Ashkenagin."
How about Dell's book he's reading? It's called The Canadian Mounted.
Yes, yes, I had that in my notes, dude. It's so great. All right, I'm good on quotes. Done.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to soundtrack, really nothing here is most
Look
80s.
at that. We got the mess around.
You got
I like
the mess
the
around.
Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones.
I would just say like they obviously created, as most John Hughes created the planes, trains, and automobile theme that you hear throughout. It's great. It reminds me of this fucking movie very much so.
Yeah.
And then there was a Paul Young cover.
Yeah, they weren't allowed. Every time you
go
away.
Some 80s bullshit.
They had another, the different.
Easy on the 80s. I love that shit.
I mean, you can.
You were born in the 90s. I get it.
I'm sure that's best.
I mean,
generation
the
from
definitely
music.
the obvious the winner is the mess around.
Absolutely.
Mess
It's
around.
classic.
All right.
Did you hear in the car? Every time I hear in the car, I have to do that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know that every time you go away, it's a slow song.
Away.
I think it's when he's looking.
It's at the end when they're hugging.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "This is Del, my friend Del." He's like,
Right.
"Mrs. Page."
So we got any spin-offs, sequels, prequels?
Well, obviously, we mentioned before, Due Date is like a literal remake of this. If you enjoy this movie, I would check out Due Date.
I got one.
It's fantastic. I had one. I said this for a sequel. I had Neil and Del become friends. Maybe Del's getting remarried and wants Neil to be his best man, and for some reason, his new wife is kind of like sketchy, and then they kind of like butt heads over. I don't know. I was trying to think of something different. But
So we know in this, Del Griffith, he had a wife, he had a home, and he's for the past 8 years he's been. You could call it homeless, but what I think happened was
his wife
he wasn't
away.
ready to deal with it. Maybe you grab some knickknacks from the house.
That's the question, right? Isn't the whole thing like is he actually homeless, or does he have a home but doesn't feel like a home because his wife died?
Okay, let's.
It could be. I'm just saying.
Let me unbox this for the crossover, and then we could go into that. But
Hold on. Do you have any spin-off sequels?
Yes,
prequels?
exactly. So in Home Alone, John Candy is available, right? And he's part of a instrumental group.
He's part of the fucking. Oh my god!
There's a
the
possibility.
Kenosha Kickers.
So the possibility is he's flying into Chicago. Kenosha's not that far from Chicago. He could have got involved with, since he's kind of a traveling salesman, this music group, because he might have been musically inclined, and now he's part of the Kenosha Kickers because he's constantly traveling A to B. So Home Alone meets this movie. He becomes, Del Griffith in a different way.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. So that is more of a
whatever you want to call it.
Switcheroo.
Switcheroo.
Yeah. No, I agree, but I like that.
Okay.
Because it's right there in the Midwest, and
I also go ahead.
No, it's good. What do you got?
Well, I was gonna say if we're getting to that, I had also something written down where there's some type of because John Hughes literally has like his own like universe, like the Ferris Bueller's dad's in this, like maybe someone from Uncle Buck or Home Alone could be in, they could cross paths somewhere. Actually, I had the fucking house that Neil has looks exactly like the Home Alone house.
Very similar.
Maybe they pull up
It's
to
not
the
the
wrong
same,
fucking
though,
house and it's the McAllister house. I don't know. No, they wouldn't do that obviously, but I don't know. Go ahead, man.
For the Switcheroo, I had Del Griffith in Christmas Vacation somewhere. I think that would be dope. I'm not really sure on where to add him, but just in some. Again, John Hughes seems to have a lot of these scenes where they're just like quick in 2 minutes, and then that's the characters things. But I could see him somewhere in that, obviously.
So, like you said, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. His dad's not in the picture at that time. Maybe he's out on that advertising campaign in New York.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So he might be right there with.
That's what I'm saying. He's flying back home to see Ferris.
So Ferris
that makes
Bueller's
sense.
Day Off could easily be connected to airplanes, trains.
Like maybe they have like a families get together for dinner and fucking Ferris family comes over or something,
Right.
to join the Pages.
So I will also put, though, because I kind of like to do two different
I like
versions
it.
of this. I'd like to see Martin Short in a role in Planes, Trains, and
I like
Automobiles.
Martin Short.
I think that would work well.
You know, I was thinking about that. It's kind of like, I don't know if that would go with this or it's a whole different thing. Like where, if like we have something like, who would you add in this movie to make it better? Like who could you see like being in that's not in it kind of thing? That's exactly what you did right there. I like that. That's good.
I mean, I think the switcheroo is kind of
it's kind of like that. Yeah,
you can kind of put in whatever you're feeling for the
exactly.
movie.
That's good.
All right, I am just on to picky nits now, unless you guys have something else.
No, go ahead, man.
Okay. I did put down the book Doug Griffith's reading. It's called Canadian Mountain. Great. We're reading smut on the fucking plane is great. I will say again, Steve Martin's character, Neil Page, definitely deserves some of it, like yelling at the rental car person and stuff like that. It's not cool.
Well, he threw away the agreement. That was pretty stupid.
But I'm just saying, being a
Out
dick.
of frustration, I get it.
In that one, he's really being a dick. But overall, a lot of people are being real cunty to this guy. You know, like out of the fucking... You know, cab getting stolen, the guy trying to fleece him for more money. You know, it's just a lot of shit of like, they are kind of giving it 50-50. Like, he's deserving some of it.
Yeah.
But then other shit, I'm like, God damn, man, nobody deserves that shit.
Yeah. I have 3 picking nits.
Go ahead.
I don't know if this makes sense. Like, why would they lay over in Wichita if they're coming from New York? Wouldn't they lay over, like...
Okay, so hon, there's some sensibility to why that is. So think about it. The weather pattern, I guess meteorologist Robert here, it comes in usually from the northwest down in a swooping motion across the Midwest. So you're going to catch it in Chicago, Indiana, and Ohio. So what they did was they stayed south of it, and they went a little bit further west.
So it'll be there like the next day, you're saying.
Right, so they would have picked up or maybe got a connecting flight the next day.
So so they couldn't have, because all the other airports, let's say in Michigan or Indiana, would all be...
That would all be within the storm front
that makes
coming
sense
up through the
Midwest.
Midwest.
I was curious because like they flew past Chicago
but
to
I
go
checked
back
all
to
of it.
Chicago.
So Jefferson City is where they got off after the train broke down. So I did check the actual logistics of this. And then they finally got to St. Louis, which is only about a 5.5 hour drive to Chicago. And then they took,
in that same lane, though, how do you take the wrong credit card at the thing? I don't know about
that
you,
was a
but
picky nit because they mentioned what they had in their wallets, and at no point did they have the same credit card or same type of card between the two.
I just don't understand how like no that's not a thing that you would pick up a card and then you go, that is not my name, and then you.
But I think in the motel though they both were gray colored credit cards. So
I get it. It's
maybe
more
it was just visual.
Obviously, the car is not going to run when it's being on fire. But
that's not true.
That's
not true.
Having said that, let me just say, if somehow it could, how did they put the fire out on the side of the highway?
This has actually been discussed. So
how did they put the fire out?
So this is part of. I did a deeper dive in this. So they're on the wrong way, or let's just say the wrong way of the highway, and the scene where the fire started, you'll see some headlights. So what's assumed is a semi driver probably saw this fire, and they have fire extinguishers on in their cab, so they put out the fire for the interior.
Okay.
If the interior's shit, guess what? The engine's up front. You know what? Like I said, the bones of the vehicle could still drive with a fire on the interior, which is all cosmetic for what it's worth.
I just think the car would have blown up, probably.
No, your fuel line is underneath your frame, or not underneath, but like along your frame.
Oh, shit. Monty.
I don't know. Like I said, there's a reality that if they received some help from a trucker or some other driver to put out the fire, that it's still drivable.
I buy that. I just wish maybe they could have.
I wish they would have just. Like I said, that's the 2.5 hour.
Even like one throwaway line, like good thing that trucker came by with the fire extinguisher.
Yeah. I would also put in there that the. How would you not find the cigarette when it's burning back there, and you just...
I think given the circumstance, that'd be very low on my concern.
Well, I think he was so distracted with getting out of the jacket. He was
I'm just saying, once you would smell it at a certain point, and you go, okay, this smells like a lit cigarette or burning
it's
material.
Kind of smoky in here.
I'm just saying, there's got to be a point before that. I also will just mention, what happened to electric beds? Are they still in motels?
No.
That does not
Why? I don't know. So that's like a sex thing, right?
No, it's like a
massage.
massage.
Massage beds.
Oh,
It's
I thought
a
it was
it's
for,
a
like,
really
sex.
shitty massage bed.
Dude, I think in the like 70s, 80s, that was kind of like.
I really always thought it was for sex.
I bet you that was like posh shit of like that's
I
like
wouldn't say
upper
it's
crust.
posh, but it was just one of those nice little features that you'd get on the road.
I thought it was going to get the motion in the ocean kind of thing.
Probably a little bit of that too.
That can't be it. Because
Maybe
it vibrates.
No,
at
I'm
the
talking
same,
about maybe. It's not to say maybe.
Maybe some guy feels like he needs a little help. He's gonna
Put in a quarter to help out the motion. I got it.
Why play man to man when you can play zone?
there you go.
That's good.
Jameer Gibbs touchdown. All right. Why would Steve Martin carry $700 in a wallet? Like, I get that you're traveling, so you might have a little bit more, but $700.
Yeah,
That's a shit.
maybe. Well, I mean, I think
Dude, he's probably a partner at an advertising. Like having
He look-
cash.
I
He
mean, you would
definitely
think
seems well off.
maybe he'd have like a checkbook. He'd write some checks or something. I know.
I could see like 200-300 for traveling purposes, but
Yeah.
$7.
You're kind of asking for it.
Yeah.
We can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
That's over.
How did you get the rental car?
I actually
showering.
used your, and he didn't get the insurance.
Yeah. I'm good
that tickles
on.
me. That tickles
I'm
me.
good on picking nits.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I just also had like
Couple comments.
I
Go
could
ahead.
have. We talked about it a little bit, but this movie easily could have been 30 minutes longer and have been great. I think I would
Definitely so.
love to have had the
Yes.
stuff that was cut, or at least the opportunity to view it at some point would be great. So
Definitely so. I will just say John Hughes always knows how to pull on the heartstrings. Like the ending, same thing with like Home Alone endings, is like it goes up to this resolution where it kind of gets you to a point where like, oh, goddamn, yes. Dell and Neil are friends. I love it.
he's very good at that.
Yeah. I do love always when they film stuff in Chicago. You see the train
They always do
platform
that,
and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
the Van
Northwest
Buren
suburbs.
Blue
That's
Line.
always great. The last thing I had, and I don't know, this could be something, dark conspiracy theory, right?
I've heard this. Go ahead. Yep.
Well, this is just one that I thought
I've
of.
heard it.
And, the wife remains, like her
Is in the
skeleton
trunk.
is in the trunk, and Della's like a murderer.
Because it's double locked. It's well secured.
Oh, and like the
I don't know, man. Like, I just kind of put two and two together. Of like, what if, like, again, dark
Okay,
fucking...
is it in there because he loves her so much and he just wants her to be around him, or is it in there because he killed her and he's hiding the evidence?
I think because he killed her and he's hiding the evidence.
No, I don't buy that. I would buy the other thing where he's just obsessed.
Oh, he's got a memento.
He just
of
loves his
her-
wife that much. She needs to be around him.
Okay.
So I do. I've heard that theory before,
I
but
did-
from what I could tell, based on some of the other or like some inside scoops, is he his house. He sold his house because he said he never wanted to like live in a house after his wife passed, and he kept mementos from the house in his trunk to carry with him wherever he went. So that's at least I think the general consensus of.
So, I feel like he has a house. It just doesn't feel like home, like a home. That's what he meant to me, where it's like, especially at Thanksgiving time. So he doesn't want to go back there and be alone on Thanksgiving. So he'd literally rather be
So you think that
else.
his house is just he's gonna let the mortgage?
I think he has like
default or
some
something?
shitty
I
little
would
maybe apartment or something. He moved, or I don't know, whatever.
I would say if he's not keeping a guy that he's talking about, like, you know, that there's those scenes of like him talking about, like, you just assume like two guys staying in a motel room together, you're gonna talk about, oh, my wife is this, or whatever. So I'm just saying, like, for a guy that doesn't bring up his wife at all, I would assume that he's moving out of his house immediately after they die, after she dies.
That's what I'm saying. I think the intent was like the house was sold, like he does, and he's living literally on the road.
I mean,
that was such
maybe.
a sad scene though when he sees Neil off on the blue line, and then Neil eventually comes back because he's like, I haven't been home in years. Like I think he recollects that, and he's like, oh, it's just kind of a phrase he knew that was bullshit.
Yeah.
And he sees him just sitting there lonely in like the train station. He's like, all right, come home, I'd love for you to meet my family, and I'm glad. I think out of this, like I said, Neil learned to be less of a tight ass and try to enjoy the journey so much, so. And John Hughes, like you said, he does a great job of making that connection and really hitting you in the feel goods.
Yeah, all the John Hughes movies. Are
Yeah,
great.
and John Candy just brings the movie, holds
He
it
has a
together.
new family now, I guess.
I think I had to have that. John Candy's like just a rare breed of actor, like
he really is.
where he's like equally funny, like sentimental, kind of like Robin Williams is also very good at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to a much lesser degree like Tom Hanks because he used to do like more comedies in the 80s and then he became more of a serious actor. But like where it's like they can do both equally well and like you believe them in both and like it's hard to play that. You know, I had to have a guy who can do that. I think
John Candy has I think 1 or 2 more serious movies.
He's in JFK. He's great in that. It's a great movie. I just watched that a couple of weeks ago. It's fantastic.
But you haven't seen some of these other movies we said.
That was my first time I saw it. It was awesome.
You know what's nuts is that you have definitely been there. Streets of Woodfield, AMC.
Yeah,
you go to that second floor.
They have the
movie posters. They have a mural of like all of these characters, which is fucking dope as you're riding up the escalator.
Yep.
And then they have the same fucking posters. It's like JFK, Muggsy, I think, is one. Bugsy, and then something else.
I think The Fugitive might be
maybe
one
The Fugitive.
Yeah.
But dude, it's always the greatest thing.
Dude,
going
that's nostalgia alert right there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like the people in Schaumburg fucking know what's up.
Shout out.
All right, so that's the end of the movie review. Let's get the ratings here.
Let's start with Mr. 4.6.
Oh,
dude, you're still salty on that.
Hate.
The fact that I walked out of it in my own house should be an indication of how poorly that was put together.
You're the only one.
All right, so, and I walked out of it twice. Just saying.
Came back in, nope.
I would have walked out of 2001, but I still gave it a 6-1.
All right, well, that one actually set the stage for all sci-fi movies going forward. But I guess, let's
some
shit
infighting.
on that.
All right, come on.
All right, so mine,
Multiple Oscar
9.5, definitely own. And the reason why it's not a perfect 10, because I love this. This truly could have been a perfect 10 if they could have wrapped up some of those plot points that we mentioned in our Picky Nits. Yeah. Like I said, I think that Steve Martin, John Candy, love them both. This is a classic film. I could watch this on repeat. Honestly, I could. And that's what makes it, I guess, so high ranking.
Yeah, it's just a real shame that in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, like if you were doing a pure comedy movie, which this is, I mean, yes, there is an element of like,
somberness,
drama-ish kind of stuff, like, but it's pretty much a pure comedy. It's had that hour and a half limit, and they were like, nope, it has to be an hour and a half.
Exactly, they cut it off.
And like Ryan said earlier, you add in like 30 more minutes. This can be a fucking
easy,
absolutely a 10. I'm gonna go similar. I'm gonna go 9.3. Again, it's definitely up there. There's definitely some iconic scenes, an own for sure. Just because, again, as Bobby and I were actually talking, I really am, like, I kind of just, not just realized it, but I'm a John Hughes guy. I like pretty much everything that he's put out.
And I'm on Ridley Scott's dick, pretty much.
There you go. And that's going to be a clip.
I love them. I love them both. I do own. And I am going to go a tick less than Uncle Buck. That's why I like Uncle Buck more. So I'm going 9.0.
Okay.
I gave Uncle Buck a 9.1, so 9.0.
9.0.
It's a great movie.
All right, who's got the next movie?
I do. So it's Christmas time.
Yeah,
so
we're rolling out the Christmas genre.
Christmas movie month or whatever. I'm going to kick us off. Now, Woj, and what's it called? He has the one I would have picked, but he wants to do it, so I'm going to let him do it.
I claimed it.
I would have picked it otherwise, and there's a couple other ones that I was thinking, but I am going to ultimately go with Jingle All the Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad.
Fuck.
You know they got low Rotten Tomato scores and all that other
Rotten
low
Tomatoes
rating.
can go.
I know, I get that. I'm just saying it's got low ratings, but I think it's funny as shit.
I love this movie. It's hilarious. I think it's definitely a movie of its time, and when we were growing up, if you were around our age, you probably like this movie.
Oh, absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, fuck
me too.
Yeah. All right, so Journeymen Lounge podcast will ride again. We're gonna do 3 Christmas movies, though, in a row, just because, again, this works out perfectly this week, next week, and then leading up to Christmas. For Woj.
And Ryan.
And Bobby.
We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.
Take care.
Bye.